Okay. So tell me when you first started learning English.
When I had my kids and they started going to school, I had to communicate with the teachers, and now I wasn't able. And so that was mainly my motivation, even though it took me a while.
How old were you when you first started? And then like how did what did you pick up when you were in Mexico? What did you learn in
When I
Mexico?
was in Mexico, I had middle school and high school. I had English, but I learned mostly vocabulary, writing, and reading. So when I came to the United States, I couldn't understand what people were talking directly to me because I didn't practice that in Mexico.
So you said you started learning when you had kids. How did you communicate prior to having kids when you were here in the US?
Who, I had translators, people who work with me. They were very willing to help me, and they will translate for me.
When did you finally start feeling comfortable speaking English and communicating in English?
When I was working at Sears, it was after a number of years that I've been here. Um, I had a lot of trouble, but they were very patient with me, also the customers. And then I started working at Montessori and it was all English also. So that made me feel more comfortable with the communication.
Did you feel that watching television or reading books helped?
A lot. Reading, especially because I had that skill from Mexico. Again, watching TV, I had to watch very basic programs that didn't involve a lot of complicated English. I learned with Little House in the Prairie, reading the series and also watching the programs on TV.
What didn't you like or don't you like about learning English and speaking English?
Mm, I didn't like it mainly because I didn't want to come to the United States. My father said we had to come, that he wanted the whole family together. So my way of not wanting to learn English was that I didn't want to be here. I thought I was going to go back to Mexico almost right away, and I didn't.
So how long were you here before you started finally speaking English comfortably?
Oh my goodness, like about, I'm going to say 10 or 12 years. I felt better because that's again when I started working at Sears and at Montessori school.
What do you tell your children that you teach when you're trying to help them learn English and communicate in English?
I teach mostly, I taught because I'm not teaching right now, but I taught mainly in Spanish, 90% of my time. The 10% in English is from specialists. But in order for a person to learn English, they have to have a really good grasp at their own language. Like they have to, it doesn't matter if it's Spanish or if it is Italian, or as long as they know their language really good, all those skills transfer to English or to a second language.
So what when you look back at yourself, 30, 40 years ago, and you think of the way you communicated in English, tell me how much you've improved and do you see it and find it hard to believe that you ever struggled so much with English?
It's hard to believe because at the beginning, sometimes I will go to restaurants and I wanted to order something and they didn't understand what I was trying to get, or to the library. I remember one particular time I asked for a magazine and they didn't know what that was, and come to learn later as the same word, just a little bit of a different pronunciation, and I don't understand why the person on the other side of the desk at the library didn't understand me.
And nowadays, when you go around, do you feel 100% comfortable with your ability to communicate in English?
I do, because if somebody says, "Oh, I don't understand what you're saying," I spell it out or I make motions, and before I couldn't even do that because I didn't feel comfortable. But nowadays, I feel a lot more comfortable, and a lot of my communication is in English, being in this country.
And then the last thing, now that you're learning another language, because you're learning Italian, do you find it easier to learn Italian than you learned English?
I'm learning the same way that I learned English in Mexico, mostly writing, reading. I don't have a chance to practice a lot on the speaking part because I'm not obviously in communication with somebody who speaks the language. I never visited Italy, but it's very encouraging. I mean, I think it's easier for me now, also because Italian and Spanish are Romance languages and they have many similarities.
Okay, I'm gonna end it right there.